Good to have you on the show. Now, talks over maritime delimitations basically broke down between Ankara and Athens after the Greek officials signed an agreement with their Egyptian counterparts. I'm wondering what it's going to take to get these two sides to sit down and try to come to a common understanding, or do you think that is unlikely? What I'm asking is, where do you think all this is going?
Thank you. It's nice to be on the program. Thanks for your question. So if we take a look at the background on this dispute, the agreement between Greece and Egypt has been brewing on for a while. And this hasn't come just at the last minute, but it has been going on through negotiations for, some say, over 10 years. And after Turkey signed an EEZ delimitation agreement, exclusive economic zone maritime deal with the government of national accord in Libya, Greece was in a rush to counteract against Turkey's deal signed in 2019. So there was a lot of pressure from the public opinion in Greece to substantiate its claims against Turkey, and they found themselves in a rush period to ink whatever deal they can cut through with Egypt to sign an agreement that would nullify, at least in theory, quote unquote, that would nullify Turkish-Libyan agreement. And so both sides now, at least in theory, have conflicting EEZ claims in the Mediterranean Sea. But Turkey has the upper hand in here because it has declared its continental shelf boundaries to the United Nations last year. It demarcated its endpoints. And Greece's claim, or the agreement with Egypt, comes on top of it, as if it's overriding Turkey's claims. But there is no such thing. I mean, you cannot reclaim an area that's been claimed by another country. So to come to your other question, where is this leading? Is it possible to bring both parties together on the table again? According to official positions, at least, unfortunately, the answer is no, because both parties are trying to protect their positions, at least, or if not digging further into their positions, negotiating positions to gain whatever advantage they can ahead of a conference, as Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan called recently on governments around the region to come together at a conference and discuss it in a multilateral way. At least before that conference takes place, both parties are trying to claim whatever advantage, whatever rhetorically at least, they can claim to substantiate their claims.
Okay, so if I could just ask you, I mean, so there, as far as I understand, what you're trying to say is that there are a number of overlapping claims, and the outcome of that is yet to be seen. But let's talk about facts. More than 80% of Turkey's total trade passes through its maritime ports, and most of that trade passes through the Eastern Mediterranean. On the other hand, Greece has the world's largest commercial fleet. So wouldn't both countries have a strong incentive for a peaceful and stable maritime solution in the region?
Absolutely. And this is one of the items sort of on the agenda of both countries' trade agenda, to have closer links. And Turkish and Greek businessmen have recently signed a bilateral, trade deal to increase the annual trade volume from $4 billion to a more substantial figure. But that figure is still minuscule compared to what Turkey's trade is, for instance, with Germany, which is $40 billion a year. And having said that, trade is one thing, but it never substitutes a policy vacuum or security vacuum. So both countries have reserves for their own national security interests. They don't want to mix and match, different trade interests with security matters. That's very clear in both capitals, in both Ankara and Athens. So you're absolutely right. There could be a win-win approach in trade links using Turkish ports, Greek Navy fleet, but merchant Navy. But this is a secondary issue. Unfortunately, at the heat of the discussion, the conflict the crisis we are going through right now, this would only come next at some distant point where both sides seriously want to sit down and discuss their differences and see areas where they converge and where they can cooperate. So the simple answer to your question is yes, it's absolutely an area of cooperation, but not right now, maybe in the distant future.
And for there to be a win-win situation, I think a third party would most likely have to be involved. All right, Suha Cubukcuoglu, thank you very much for joining us here on Home Studio and on TRT World. I do appreciate your analysis.